feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind?
I'm jumping on because I want to talk about what Israel is doing right now. This is the Actual Facts Podcast. Thank you to Brother Malik for allowing me to speak on the platform. Feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Tell a friend to tell a friend about the Actual Facts Podcast. This is actualization, a real brown chair conversation. And I want to talk about Israel because, man, this is crazy right now. If you don't know, I don't know where you've been, but listen. Israel just launched a large-scale airstrike against Iran. Now, they are saying that they are targeting nuclear facilities, right? They are looking for their missile infrastructure, their command centers, and all of their leadership assets. Because what they're trying to do, according to Israel, is they're trying to neutralize the threat. Now, of course, this is coming from Prime Minister Netanyahu. Now, he's claiming that Israelis are basically force controlling the skies above Tehran, right? And they have this operation called Rising Lion, or Kalave, or something like that in Hebrew. Now, it's very, very weird because right now, Israel, their justification is that Iran has a nuclear capability. Basically, they are a nuclear threat. So basically, Netanyahu is asserting that Israeli intelligence has confirmed that Iran is on the verge of acquiring nuclear weapons. Now, he was basically saying that them bombing Israel was imminent. They don't have any bombs, according to the intelligence, but they're close to having a bomb. So we're going to do a preemptive strike. Netanyahu has been doing this for a substantial amount of time, and I'll talk about this later on. But, you know, right now, he's using all these sensationalized words. He was like, look, we're not going to go through a second Holocaust. And I'm just thinking in my mind, man, this guy is not really in touch with reality. Now, he's basically saying that if Iran had a nuclear bomb, then Israel would go through a second Holocaust. Now, what's weird is that United States intelligence community are disputing Israel's assessment, and they're basically stating that Iran is not actively pursuing nuclear weaponization. There are a variety of reports that confirm that Iran is not in breach of any non-proliferation type of situations. You feel what I'm saying? So, you know, they're saying that Iran is concealing materials at different sites and things of that nature, right? They're saying that Iran has amassed like 60% enriched uranium, and that is potential enough to have and create bombs and weaponize those bombs. And I'm just thinking in my mind, man, where is the evidence that supports this ongoing weapons program? I've seen different agencies who kind of represent atomic safety, and no one is confirming because they can't find any of these weapons. Now, I have seen this play over and over and over again, right? And then I'm just thinking in my mind, it's just a reoccurring pattern that Israel is just playing the same broken record. They are the boy who cried wolf. Now, Netanyahu and a variety of other Israeli leaders have been warning of Iran being, one bomb away for like 30 years, 3 decades. You got what I'm saying? 3 decades, they've been saying the same thing and saying the same thing. So when I'm looking at this crisis today, and I think about the United States and their failed search for weapons of mass destruction, because you remember when the United States claimed that a country had weapons of mass destruction, and then they used that to basically gain and capture Saddam Hussein. They're just repeating this same pattern, but there are others who knew it was a lie then. There are some who think it's a lie now. My problem is that Netanyahu is the greatest liar on this planet. So are we just supposed to trust the words of a liar? This guy has been saying the same things for the last 30 years. Oh, they're on the verge. They're on the verge, trying to make everyone go to war with Iran. And I'm just thinking to myself, something is majorly wrong with this situation. Look, Netanyahu's word with no evidence, especially when his claims have global consequences. I'm talking about a war forever. So we supposed to just trust his word? Listen, the answer is no. You should never automatically trust the word of a person who is proven to be a liar, especially in matters of war, weapons, and international conflict. Trust has to be earned through transparency. Trust has to be earned through accountability. And most importantly, it has to be verifiable. You have to have independently verified information. So from my perspective, there's a lot of skepticism as it applies to Netanyahu. There are so many others who have been in his position. Netanyahu has a track record and a pattern of lies and massive exaggeration. Because like I said, he just kept saying, oh, we're 5 years away from this, and we're 5 years away from they're gonna produce a nuclear bomb. He's been doing this since the early 90s now. And each time it's been shown that it's been empty rhetoric. This guy is a known liar who consistently beats the drum of war. Now, what is very disappointing is that there are people who are in the White House and they say that they are leaders. They say that they are leading the country. However, it seems as if Israel thinks the United States is their lapdog, and it seems as if every time Israel tells a United States leader to jump, he not only says how high, he says when, how long do you want me to jump for? Everything that Israel tells the United States leadership, it's as if they just take it like these guys have integrity when they don't. They just don't. I remember the United States Congress were talking about removing Saddam Hussein from his position. And they was talking about a positive transfer of power And they were saying that this transfer of power, taking out Saddam Hussein, would basically turn the Middle East into a way, or into individuals that had a great relationship with the United States, because, hey, this guy has weapons of mass destruction. So now when I look back through the years, this 20+ war that was not won, the claim was proven false. Do you understand me? So somebody was fed false information, and no one is talking about it. Too many individuals played a substantial role in misleading the public into a disastrous war in which thousands of American troops and thousands of countless civilians were unalive. Major catastrophe. It's very angering for a person like me who reads history. I remember in the 1900s when they was talking about dividing specific land and taking land from a Palestinian people who owned the land, and they justified taking the land. I remember Netanyahu right now has been indicted. Bribery, fraud, breach of trust in Israel, undermined his credibility on every level. He is fighting for political power right now. And when I tell you, he is really beating the drums of war and trying to create unnecessary conflict. He's always drafting, and he has a history of drafting up fear narratives and attaching them to Iran, attaching them to Iraq. We have seen this play over and over and again. We've seen it over and over again. I see the political motivation. There are so many people who are analyzing this security crisis and looking at this world crisis, and they're like, man, what in the world is gonna go on? Look, man, there is a major problem. I'm hoping that he does not gain support. I'm looking at the political sphere right now. I'm on social media, and I'm hearing all of these people beat the drums of war without verified evidence. So basically, it's an unverified claim. If you take Netanyahu's word, he is a leader that does not have integrity. And if you take the word of an individual who's known to not have integrity, consistently beat the drums of war, and show the whole world that he has a vendetta against Iran and Iraq, he just wants to wipe them out now. If you take his word without independent verification, then what you are doing is that you are opening a door. You're going to open a Pandora's box that's not going to just be a World War III. It's going to be a world of war that you have never seen. I'm talking about an unprecedented world war. They use fabricated justifications for war. Do you remember the Iraq weapons of mass destruction lie? It's going to cause civilian casualties on the thousands, maybe even in the millions. It's going to implement a draft in the United States, because I'm telling you, Iran is not going to just bow down. They're not going to let this liar Netanyahu just tell them what to do, and then they just say, okay, no. Now, I don't know if you in the United States, but if you live in the United States, and your own property, if you live in the United States and you pay taxes, then you understand like no other the massive cost of a war with no benefit. If the United States government gets involved and intervenes in this Israel-Iran conflict, there's no benefit except American casualties. That's all. That's all you get. Israel does not have a track record of assisting the United States. However, the United States has a track record of being told what to do and when to do it by Israel. Listen, just because your intelligence say something don't mean it's the truth. We have seen the CIA say certain things are happening in the United States that didn't happen. Certain things are happening in other countries that did not happen. Intelligence has to be scrutinized. That's my point. You got to verify these nuclear threats. Don't just agree with this Israel prime minister because his assessments have been off for 30 years. Do you understand? He's been lying for 30 years. And the reason why he tells these lies is because it fits his agenda. He is using words as a weapon to galvanize another country. The United States, are you the lapdog of Israel? Every time they tell you to do something, are you supposed to do that? I don't support blind allegiance. I just don't. It's not okay. Now, if anyone is concerned about anyone's nuclear ambitions and nuclear capability, hey, okay, I'm okay with that. There's no country on this planet that's an angel. But I'm telling you, concerns have to be balanced with verified facts. What's crazy is that there's something called international law. You can't just do whatever you want to do. But it seems as if some people don't understand this concept. I understand the propaganda, and Netanyahu is pushing this propaganda. But it's going to be a very, very grave mistake if the United States is backing military actions with no evidence. It's going to cost hundreds of thousands of lives. It's going to create a failed state over there in the Middle East. Now, I remember when they was talking about these quote unquote extremist groups like ISIS, right? They basically rose out of the ashes of the Iraq war. They took all of the weapons that the United States left behind and they started running things. I live in the United States. I represent the country that I was born inside of. I will protect the country that I was born inside of. But I want you to understand this. Patriotism does not mean standing by a country. Patriotism does not mean that you just stand by the president or any type of public official. You have to actually stand for something. Netanyahu is like a lot of these leaders, man. They are liars, and you just can't just take their words. Everything they do and say have to be fact checked. It has to be questioned, and above all, they have to be held accountable. You don't have to be pro-Iran. You don't have to be pro-Middle East. You don't have to be pro-Iraq. What I am saying is show the world the proof. That's just being a responsible, informed individual. These individuals will feed you lies and tell you that it's the truth. And if you don't stand for something, you'll definitely fall for those lies. I'm totally against a World War III. I am totally a believer that Netanyahu is a liar. He's proven it over 30 years. People are not what they say, they are what they do. For 30 years, this guy has been lying. And guess what? Israel has nuclear capability right now. See, the reason why the bully does not want you to have what he has is because it makes it even. It's even Steven. And people don't like it when it's even Steven. See, these guys have a track record of being the most vile, most disgusting liars on this planet. Don't you fall for it. I just want you to know that Brother Malik has a book called Chains of Revolution. It's going to be released real soon. Make sure you go look for that. I got another surprise that I really want you to support, and we'll talk about that at another time. Look, create a standard. Don't compromise on that standard. I'll talk to you soon.